Transformers would come to a permanent end, or they could completely revamp their approach and take things in a wildly new direction. After the end of Generation 2, Hasbro commissioned the newly acquired Kenner division to develop an all-new, completely original line of Transformers toys. Hasbro wanted to keep things alive, but it was a huge gamble. If this didn't succeed, although perhaps it was already goodbye for the Autobots and Decepticons, as instead the new line proposed two all-new factions in a war unlike anything Transformers had seen before.
Beast Wars, the next step in Transformer evolution, is here. New Maximals, heroic animals battle the evil reptile and insect forces of the Predacons.
In a complete shock to Transformers fans, the brand pivoted completely away from robots turning into cars, trucks, and planes to instead transform into animals. Instead of Optimus Prime, the 18-wheeler, it was Optimus Primal, the silverback gorilla. And the toys launched with a bang. They were far more complex than the last few years of figures, with tons more play value and posability. They each had weapons, armaments, mutant heads so their robot forms could take on new animalistic head designs. It was a massive expansion, especially in comparison to G2. And fans hated it. Yeah, they absolutely reviled the massive change, with the phrase "truck, not monkey" frequently making its way onto early message boards as a way of criticizing Optimus's new gorilla form as opposed to the truck of the 80s. But perhaps the most critical of fans were going to eat their words, as Beast Wars wasn't just going to be a vision as well. In a massive departure from previous series, Hasbro commissioned Mainframe Entertainment, the creators of Reboot, to animate a completely 3D computer-generated series surrounding the new toy line. As such, it was on September 16th, 1996 that fans witnessed a massive visual upgrade, and the first time in North America that truly new episodes of the Transformers adventures were to air since 1987. 300 years have passed since the end of the G1 cartoon, and the Transformer race has evolved from Autobots and Decepticons into Maximals and Predacons. But after a transwarp failure, a Maximal science vessel and a fugitive Predacon warship are swiftly blasted back millions of years into the past to a mysterious, primitive planet. A planet whose life bears a striking resemblance to Earth's. Is it Earth? Well, it can't be. There are 2 moons here, and the entire planet is covered in energon, the radiation of which causes the Maximals and Predacons to overload if they remain in robot form for too long. As such, they take on the organic disguises of the native life forms, battling each other in a conflict that was aptly named, even within the show, the Beast Wars. Every week, the Maximals and Predacons would duke it out over new territory, new energon, and new equipment, all in glorious 3D animation. Well, maybe not that last bit. I mean, to be fair, it was quite the breakthrough in terms of weekly animated television, but it was far from perfect. The textures were often lacking, and the primitive animation often led to plenty of goofy moments.
How are you changing so fast?
Use Grey Matter's brains to hack the Omnitrix and remove the limiter.
Cats like Coco are masters at hiding their health needs. Stay
Instant
curious
hero
and support
switches
their
at my
daily care
command.
with tailored nutrition.
That being said, the animation created complex camera movements, and the facial animation of the appears you could very easily read the emotions of a given scene. Die-hard fans who were quick to dismiss Beast Wars were soon watching and loving the show alongside the new kids who were being exposed to Transformers for the first time. It not only contained fun action, but also solid character work and humor. In a stark contrast to G1's massive sprawling cast of characters, and even Beast Wars' own expansive toy line, the cartoon was limited by its budget to only contain a handful of characters on each side. We got the Maximals, Optimus Primal, Rhinox, Cheetor, and Rat Trap, and the Predacons Megatron, Terrorsaur, Tarantula, Tarantulas, Scorponok, and Waspinator. But among all of them, there's one character that stands out: Dinobot. First a Predacon soldier working with Megatron, but upon arriving on this mysterious planet and losing faith in Megatron's ultimate plan, he turns tail and joins the Maximals. While Optimus readily accepts him into the cause, it does cause some conflict between him and Rat Trap. It was due to this smaller cast size that the show was able to explore the various dynamics and relationships far more than Transformers ever had before. The conflict between Rat Trap and Dinobot could be fleshed out over the course of several episodes. Optimus Primal's lack of confidence in his leadership abilities was also a focus, given that he was a far younger, less experienced commander than Optimus Prime before him. All of this was bolstered by a pretty impressive team of voice actors who brought the characters to life in vibrant and distinct ways. From the father figure voice Gary Chalk imbued Optimus Primal,
Well, that's just Prime.
to the irreverent and sarcastic voice Scott McNeil imbued Rat Trap,
We're all gonna die.
and of course there's the weirdly suave and well-spoken voice David Kaye gave Megatron.
Ah, a treacherous, underhanded sneak attack. Oh, I like you, pussycat. Yes.
And over the course of the season, the core cast would expand a little bit more. You see, in the first episode, the Maximals jettisoned a legion of protoforms into space. And every once in a while, a pod would fall towards the surface and become the center of a new episode's story. Given that these protoforms were essentially blank slates, they could be claimed by either Maximal or Predacon. This led to the introduction of characters such as the Predacon Black Arachnia, as well as the Maximals Tigatron and Airraiser, all of whom became regular characters as the season trucked forward. Black Arachnia and Airraiser were also prominent female characters, following in the footsteps of RC and other arcs go to. It was a mystery that got Megatron to be more than just a leader. He's royalty. The queen of the colony, if you will. A mutant spark of Starscream. Ah man, it's not in their no choice but to reset their efforts untampered by outside forces, and it is here that one of the two moons is revealed to actually be a massive weapon called a Planet Buster, capable of wiping out all life on the planet. So the Maximals must work quickly to destroy the Planet Buster. As such, Optimus Primal rigs an escape pod full of explosives with him in the pilot seat to destroy the weapon. But Megatron is wise to Primal's plan, and through Black Arachnia and Tarantulas, he locks Primal inside the pod, preventing his escape as he barrels towards the Planet Buster to his demise.
2, 1, 0.
Is Optimus Primal dead? While his mission was a success, the Planet Buster was destroyed, there was no way he could have survived that explosion. Which means the Maximals are now left without a leader. But hey, there's only one moon now, so maybe this really is Earth. But audiences were left in suspense, wondering just how the Maximals could possibly survive after this. But their longing for answers and closure would have to wait until Season 2. In the meantime, however, it was time to return to toy shelves for the continuing sales of Beast Wars figures. The line expanded to include the characters introduced during the first season's run, such as Inferno, Tigatron, and Airraiser, whilst also expanding into characters not seen in the series, and some G1 concepts, like Triple Changers and Combiners. But while the toy line certainly kept interest during the continuing months of 1997, eyes inevitably returned to TV screens on October 26th for the long-awaited premiere of Beast Wars' second season. Picking up in the immediate aftermath of the first season's finale, the explosion of the Planet Buster sent a massive pulse wave over the planet, causing a major shift in the status quo. Not only does it purge the planet of its energon radiation, allowing the Maximals and Predacons to walk freely in robot form, but it also resulted in the deaths of Terrorsaur and Scorponok, rather unceremoniously I might add. But the most significant effect was that the pulse wave upgraded Rat Trap, Cheetor, and Megatron into transmetal beasts, Each of them received new gimmicks, weapons, and upgrades to change the tide of the Beast Wars. From Rat Trap's wheels to Cheetor's new ability to fly. Eventually, Tarantulas gets in on the Transmetal game, getting an all-new form himself. All of which leads to all new battles in the following two-parter, Coming of the Fusors. Now, you might be asking, what the hell is a Fusor? Well, yeah, they're kinda bizarre. While the Season 1 cast of characters had largely taken on forms of existing animals and creatures, Fusor's alt modes are melds of two different animals to create a wholly unique creature. Two Fusors were introduced to the show, the Rootin' Tootin' Cowboy Quick Strike and the Honorable Silverbolt, both initially under the command of Megatron. Although over the course of the two-parter, Silverbolt realizes his loyalties don't quite lie with the Predacons, so he turns heel to join the Maximals, which certainly helped them out as they were vastly outnumbered in this massive climactic battle.
Love what you do and love the way you look doing it with Men's Warehouse. For every meeting, every move.
Move out, Predacons. We've waited a long time for this. Yes.
As evidenced by that moment, the camera work and cinematic sensibilities got an upgrade. Beast Wars was perhaps one of the most revolutionary cartoons on TV at the time, and it totally won over even the most storytelling and characters. But during this climactic battle, the Maximals are at wit's end. The Predacons of nowhere to turn the tide, and it is none other than right up in a new transmetal form, which is also diving deeper into some of the characters. On top of that, the mystery surrounding the aliens would take a bit of a back seat this season. They were no longer going to be the driving mystery behind Season 2's events. That didn't mean they were gone entirely. In fact, another massive alien structure became the centerpiece of the two-parter Other Visits. The first two episodes to air in the early months of an alien structure that fell under the command of Megatron, who would no doubt use it to successfully conquer Cybertron. That is, until the Maximals interfere, thwarting Megatron's plan, as they often do. But with this structure, the show did end up losing Airazor and Tigatron, who were hinted at having romantic interest in each other, a thread that wouldn't be picked up as they were both captured by the aliens not to be seen again for some time. The void was filled by the introduction of a new character, however, as another Maximal protoform fell towards the planet, though this one the Maximals were hoping was never brought back online. Protoform X.
Primus help us all if that thing survived.
Protoform X is an unstable mutant protoform, which only gets worse when the Predacons get their hands on it, turning it into the ruthless killing machine Rampage, who under Megatron's control is able to cause serious damage to the Maximals. Now I know what you're thinking. All of this sounds kind of episodic. Is there not an overarching plotline that motivates Season 2? Well, luckily for fans, there was. This time around, the season is driven by the two golden discs. One of them was sent down by the aliens to activate that structure from earlier, but that was its only purpose, so that disc doesn't really matter. The disc that does matter is the Voyager golden disc. So named because it's based on the real disc launched with the Voyager probe in 1977. It carries visuals, sounds, and music from Earth, as well as instructions on how to play it should it fall into the hands of alien life. And this show posits that it did find alien life, eventually winding up in the of Megatron. Well, not that Megatron, at least not initially, the original G1 Megatron, who inscribed it with new images of his past, this show's future. Then, prior to this show, planning to follow its instructions by traveling back in time to prehistoric Earth, which finally gave confirmation to fans that we were, in fact, but temporarily winds up being stolen from him by Dinobot, who, upon seeing the future, end up causing him a little bit of an existential crisis, because he starts quoting shit about Megatron and Predacons to the Beast. He team alongside Jeff Beast Machine